All right, welcome back, everybody. We're live. How's everyone doing? Day trading the NQ on New York Open. We literally just opened. Sorry, I just want to put my phone on charge. Take out the case. There we go. All right. Let's get a shut up. How's everyone doing today? Remember, tomorrow's the big one. FOMC. Con, good morning to you. Omar, good morning to you as well. Okay, we've literally just opened. What time is that? The FOMC is my time. Let me double check. It's usually because I can give you the US time. What time zone would you want it? Because my time, it's like late always. 7 p.m. my time, which is, I don't know what time that is in the US, to be honest. Wait, 2:30 is on my time is 9:30, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 5 hours behind. So 2 p.m. basically. 2 p.m. Eastern time, US time is FOMC. So yeah. And then, you got the press statement after. That's probably even more cautious you got to be, because traders pick apart every tiny word that Jerome says, the way he says it. Hell, there's like a thing going around where people what do you call it? People guess the outcome of FOMC depending on like the colored tie that Jerome wears. I don't know if that's actually works. I think it's a load of bullshit. But yeah, people are like extremely, yeah. But hey, my mentor. Good evening. Good evening, Benjamin. Good to see you. Nadine, great to see you. That's tomorrow, right? FOMC. Yes, correct. Tomorrow. So that's going to be a big one. So I'm not expecting much today, just because we're, before FOMC. And also tomorrow, like on the open, it's I'm not going to expect much as well pre FOMC. But after FOMC, I mean, it's no guarantee, but you never know. Might open up a bit, this market, because we're still in a range, long-term range. We're still in it. And even this open we've had right now is, just look at the volume. It's very low compared to normal. Biggest cluster is what, 352? Yeah, not great, basically. Good evening, UE5. How are you? Love the vid you dropped yesterday. BL, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, if anyone watched it yesterday, the video I dropped, let me know your thoughts. Got lots of positive comments. I'm glad about that. Benjamin says, trading gold right now, win $400. Incredible. Good stuff. Doing French volume profile only. Great stuff. Thomas, good morning to you. How are you? All right. So just to let you guys know where I am in terms of the charts, again, we're kind of nowhere. Oh, no, we did test a little gap just a minute ago. Didn't even realize. Okay, we're getting into it again. So maybe there's potentially for a buy trade now. Potential as we get into that gap. But ideally, I can't wait for us to get up here, because that's going to be a great short up here. And we're so close. We're how many points away? 85 points away. We can do it. Come on, NQ. Let's get up there, because that's going to be a great trade. I'm going to make the clusters again a bit bigger. We'll try 20. See if it looks any better. Still doesn't look great. My light is flickering. What the hell's going on? Don't know if you guys... Is that... Yeah. My light... It's this light. It's the ring light that's flickering. What's going on here? It's fine. I'm getting distracted. But yeah, like I was saying, potential for a buy trade down here. We opened very quite low volume as a whole for the open. You're starting to see, bigger numbers on the sell side coming in, and they're starting to fail. It might be worth, you know what, I might dip my toe in. If we break below this sell candle here, the buyers are actually at the top of the candle, so not yet. Not yet. If those buyers are actually able to push it up. Okay, a bit of buyers coming in. Because the sell volume, I'm going to dip my toe in. If we get below this candle, I'll get out. So I can have a nice tight stop at least. Hopefully. We're getting slightly below. I'm just trying to load up my cash account while we're trying to sort this. Yeah, this is probably going to test this little box here. All right, I'll get out because that's a lot of volume coming in. Didn't quite work out. I thought maybe the sellers would reject here, but I'm keeping my eye right here now on the 500. Sorry, give me 2 seconds while I load up this cash because I feel like there's a trade I really want to take. All right. Okay. All right, so we've got the 500. Another big amount chunk of sell volumes coming in. I want to see if they hold here. They're starting to get absorbed. They're just kind of stopped in their tracks. Again, if we get below that candle, I'm happy to get out. So I'm going to have a really tight stop, just another stop there. I think we can. I think there's something going on here. They're coming in very strong, though, the sellers, but there's something going on. It's just kind of stopping ever so slightly. I haven't gone in my cash yet because I really only wait until there's actual buy confirmation to get in on the cash account. But with this account, I'm kind of happy to. I mean, this account's not even real, so there's no emotions here. The sellers are coming in quite strong. There's still, I mean, there's a lot of sell volume, but they're not. I don't know. There's definitely an iceberg here. Just no buyers. Excuse me, no buyers actually coming in, which is weird. I would expect some buy pressure to have come in. Unless they literally come in now, that would be funny. By the way, same. I have a question, Sammy. I have a question about this low volume node. If the price retests at the low volume node, does it mean the big institution is still holding their buy at the low volume node or in that area? It depends. It really almost impossible to know. I'll be honest, Benjamin. Very, very difficult to know. Because it really depends on on so many different factors. Like how recent was that low volume node created? If it was created very recently, then yeah, there's a good chance that institution is still in. If it's like a really old one, probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like the older ones, you really can't track it. Like it's really hard to track whether that person's still in the market or not. What you can, but like the fresher ones, you can absolutely track. Give me 2 seconds. I see this is potential. Still not getting any buyers really coming in. I'm starting to see a bit of. I'm seeing something happening, but it's still, the sellers are still coming in too strong. It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. Good afternoon, Charis. How are you? Did anyone identify the SMT on NQ before the open? All right, we'll jump in. Yeah, there's the But they might get trapped. I don't know. This could just be a rotation up. I think it might be. I think it's a simple rotation. I don't think it could be a V-shaped reversal as well. This is a tough one. All right, if we test that 251 again and they defend, I'm going to jump in. We didn't get it. I am in my cash though. I didn't get in time, but I got in my cash at 25.93325. 25.93325. Around there. So I'm just trying to manage that trade. Come on. Get a bit higher. My TP is 25.972. 972. Oh, it's a lot lower. Oh, we're getting close. Oh, here we go. Getting very close to it. Come on. Sorry, guys. I should have. I struggle to talk and when I'm in the cash account, because this is now real money for me. So just bear with me as I just keep my eye on the footprint. This is looking fine. This is looking good. Come on. Oh, you one tick me, you bastard. You one tick me. Don't you dare. Come on. Come on. Don't one tick me. Come on. Yes. Very good. All right. Woo. Good. Good. Okay. Now I can concentrate. Like I was saying, yeah. A little bit there was a lot of sell pressure coming in, and it's really that buy pressure. You know, you really do want to wait for some kind of confirmation most of the time, right? You don't just want to jump in and front run it. Front running it is good when the market's moving very quickly and you feel that there won't be an opportunity. Sometimes it's good to front run. Other times, you know, when you do see a bit more confirmation, for me, it was more when we were down here and I was saying this is looking actually quite interesting. I know I didn't explain what I was seeing, but what I was seeing for me was just a difference in volume. So if you look at the sell side volume, it's huge, right? But then the buyers are able to produce a half decent candlestick, like a bullish candlestick with relatively low volume. That's what kind of just that imbalance alone, you know, but it was still dangerous to enter because sellers can just pile on more volume and keep pushing it down, because they are still capable of pushing the market down, but only with a lot of high volume, right? And then, yeah, but I hope it makes sense. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh yeah, I saw that. Well, it doesn't, old or new, as long as the low volume node is clean and still respected, we can use it for high profit. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's clean, respected, like the moment it starts trading through it and it just doesn't, like it doesn't exist, that's when, you know, you want to kind of, all right, we'll get rid of it. But if it's bouncing off and still kind of rejecting and somewhat being respected, yeah, keep it on the chart. Absolutely, keep it on the chart. All right. That was a decent trade. I like that. Now, again, why I targeted where I targeted, it's strange because I don't actually have it on this chart drawn out. I've got it drawn out on a different chart. Let me see what I've drawn. Okay. So I'm looking at two different charts here. But there is, I don't know why I've got that so big. There we go. There is a, there is a low volume node on this chart. Why is that not appearing here? Let me have a look. Have I drawn it at the right point? Yeah, I've drawn it. I have no idea. There's two different. The volume profile looks slightly different here. Ah, there it is. Okay, I just drew it. I don't know why. I don't know why that made such a difference. It normally shouldn't make such a difference. I just drew it exactly where it kicked off here. Was before I had it down here. That really shouldn't make any difference. I'm a little bit confused why that happened. Because it doesn't change the time or volume in these candles. But yeah, the area I was where I had my TP and what I was targeting up there was this tiny little gap here. That's basically, and I had it a little bit above because I thought it might break through, but if not, I can quickly get out. So that's why I was targeting around this area on my cash. So yeah, but it looks better though on this one. Either way, doesn't matter. Let's see what the comments are saying. Hello, Sam. Got some money on your cash account? Yes, I do. Gotta have a bit of money in the cash account. It's always going to be your first priority. You mark volume on the 1 minute time frame? No. Yes, I do actually. Yes. No. I'm talking absolute rubbish. Of course I do. But I do it on the 15-minute for longer term areas. So for example, this is 15-minute now, yeah? That whole leg up that we've had, I'm marking out the gaps in that. And then for like just scalping opportunities, right? Like these will determine, these bigger areas for me determine more direction overall, right? So let's look at, let me draw out all of them. So there's another one there. There's another one at the bottom there. So the way I use the longer term areas, right? If we're trading below them, I'm looking generally to short, right? If we break above one area, then I'm bullish up until the next area, right? If we break above that area, then I'm bullish again up until the next area. So I'll only generally be looking more for buys in that area, right? If we break again below another area, then I'm more short until the next area. Does that make sense? So I would be more bullish down here because we're closer to that area, and more bearish up here because we're closer to this area, right? Now, if we break above that area, then I'm bullish again, okay? As long as we stay above it, right? And that doesn't mean bullish as in jumping for a trade right away. I mean, I'm more inclined to take bullish trades in general, right? And if we're, higher up, like up here, I'm more inclined to short. But the more further down we get, the more likely I'm looking to buy, okay? Because we're now between these two areas. So they're kind of like sections of the chart, right? And every kind of section is almost like its own range, right? And then on the 1 minute chart, I draw out, the smaller kind of moves, like this push up we had, looking for some kind of, in one of these areas, there's a good chance we'll get that bullish move back up. And we did get it wicked down quite a bit below it, but either way, we kind of got it, right? But the main, and these are more for scalps. Like I wouldn't want to hold this all the way up to wherever. These are, because it's just 1 minute chart. I'm just looking for, bit more scalping in these areas, right? But then the big ones like this one, this is a really big one that's been around for like a long time ago. That is like the ultimate, I want to short the hell out of it. Now, if we get to that area, we have many times got there in the past. Back in December, early December, we got there, rejected. Back in November, throughout November, we rejected a few times. So again, I don't know why it's drawn so bent. I don't know why I keep drawing it so bent. There it is. That's the actual gap. I've drawn it. All right, we almost got there in December, but either way, that's the area I want to essentially target. So that's kind of like my big short play. Yeah, that's my big short essentially. All right, let's see what's actually happening here, because it is a V-shaped reversal. Bastard. Should have held that crap. Yeah, I got a bit chopped up here. I think I actually got stopped out to the T. I think I put my stop loss literally to the T of that trade. But I was very much more focusing on the cash one. I wasn't really paying too much attention to this. But okay, is there a trade? Let's have a look. I'm trying to zoom out. I can't see shit right now. What's going on? Where the hell's the... Oh, there it is. Damn, I was thinking, I was like, am I blind? Where's the volume profile? And there's loads of areas down here, but I can draw them out now, but I don't think we're realistically going to really get there. So I'm kind of... But I'll keep them on the chart just in case. You never know. You never know. But yeah, up here, I really want to short. We're now above that area, so I'm still... Yeah, okay, it did hold. It just went literally to the frickin' T at the bottom of it. And I got chopped up buying in this area. And then I didn't actually get in for the buy on this account when the move happened, but I did on my cash account. So I'm actually, in a weird way, it actually worked out well for me, because because this is demo money right now. So I don't actually earn anything from this. But where it mattered, I did catch it. So I'm quite happy. That is a proper V-shaped reversal. Check that out. Wow. Nice. I should have held that a bit longer. Did you take any trades? Yes. I just explained a minute ago. I did. But there's going to be more. I think there's more. Using only a fixed range volume profile, no volume footprint. But still, it's better to have volume footprint to see that story of every candle. So you exit. Do you still box the graph of the market, Sam, or nah? What do you mean by box the graph of the market, Benjamin? You trading on demo? No prop firms or personal? No, so I have a personal account, a cash account, but I can't show a cash account because I work for Ola Prime, right? So I'm literally employed by them. So I'm not allowed to show any other brand name. Like, that's a direct competitor, because we have a brokerage as well. I can't show that. And normally, yes, I do have an Ola Prime actual cash account with them, but it's still in the process of being transferred. So we dropped Project X. Like, Project X you can't get Project X anymore, right? At least not with us. And we only have DX Futures at this moment in time. And I really don't want to be trading on the DX Futures platform. It's all right, don't get me wrong, decent. Like, some people really like it, but I personally just do not really like DX Futures. But we're getting Ninja Trader and Tradeovate very soon. It's almost there. I know I say that every day, but we genuinely are almost there with Ninja Trader and Tradeovate. And once I get that, I'll have my live account again with them, essentially. So this I can full port. This is absolute demo. This doesn't matter. But I would rather trade a demo of Project X than a live on DX Futures. I just really don't like that platform. It's just my personal opinion. I don't like it. I never got on with it. It doesn't work well with my eyes. There's too many buttons. I just don't like it. So I'd rather wait. What's Ola Prime? Oh no, Ola Prime. HOLA. Like the basketball in the background, if you can see it. That's the basketball. because we sponsored Carl Anthony Towns. Oops. Ola Prime. See it? We sponsored Carl Anthony Towns. He was from the New York Knicks. He's like our brand sponsor, ambassador, or whatever you want to call it. And I went out to New York, met with the guy. We shot an advert, and this was the basketball used in that advert. So I got to take it home with me. And yeah, it's pretty cool. But so I just have it up here with a little. He didn't sign it though, which is slightly. I should have got him to sign it because now it's just a basketball with Ola Prime written on it. But if he had his actual signature on it, I don't know. I had a dumb moment there where I completely forgot to ask him, "Oh, can you sign the ball?" But what can you do? Never mind. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work, and then only afterwards, when I was on the plane back, I was like, "Ah, shit! I never got him to sign the ball." Oh well. Where did you learn trading from for learning proper order flow? Where should we go? Well, I learned it from like early on in my career because I started not as a trader, but in the marketing department of an old school prop firm in the city of London. They don't exist anymore because all old school prop firms have pretty much shut down since new ones came out. But yeah, I started in the marketing department, fresh out of university. I actually dropped out of university to start that job because it was recommended. I knew a friend who knew these guys, and from friends, and basically I got an interview and I landed a job, and then I had a decision: either finish my business degree or work for these guys. And I was like, I was 19. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna work for these guys. I'm going straight into the workplace. Dropped out of uni. Yeah, started working in the marketing department with these guys, and that's where I fell in love with trading. Because I saw the actual traders. I was like, shit, man, this is when you're 19 and young, ready, and you just want to make money and get out there, and you see these guys driving Bentleys and stuff, and you're like, ah, man, yeah, this is the way forward. Do you know what I mean? So I was lucky enough because of I was employee of them. I was lucky enough to learn free of charge, essentially. So I got to actually learn how to trade and stuff. But it took a lot of time, and then I eventually became. And then all these companies, all these firms pretty much shut down. And like I worked here and there, and then I was much independent for a long, long time, just my own retail money. And I tried other things as well on the side. Opened up a car wash once. Just random shit, like, do you know what I mean? Where you invest a little bit. It was stupid, I don't know, but yeah. And then I got involved with the people behind Ola Prime. They were a trading floor as well, and then a few years after that, they decided to open up a online prop firm, and that's how Ola Prime was born. And then I was basically offered to run the UK operations for them. I accepted, and here we are today. So that's basically my story in a nutshell. But yeah, I learned it like many years ago. And where to learn it? I mean, YouTube, man. YouTube is the best place to learn stuff like this. Like, all right, we had YouTube back then. Yeah, I think YouTube still existed back then. Yeah, no, 100% it did. Yeah, I remember YouTube even in school. So yeah, of course it existed. But it was a bit different. Like, you didn't really have, it wasn't like the YouTube we have now. There was very kind of limited content. But now, oh my god, I mean, there's a wealth of information. Any order flow related channel, whether mine or others, there's many good channels out there. But they'll all teach you the exact same thing, essentially, right? That's the thing. Like, there's only one way to really read the order flow. They might have different tips and tricks on the way they like to do it. So by all means, check out, just search it on YouTube, and yeah, have a watch, man. The more knowledge, the better, right? Let's see. In what firm? Ola Prime, Jose. Ola Prime. You have a Spanish name, so it's basically Hello Prime for you. Hola, hola prime. Lost 50 with 1 micro selling, ended up plus 45 with 2 micros, momentum buying. Perfect. Good stuff, Charis. Very good. Thanks for the recent video. A bit confused that where we should start marking volume profile. Should we mark just 1 minute or other time frames as well? I would do 15-minute on like serious moves on legs, right? Like proper, like just zoom out of the 15-minute chart. Have a look at like I mean, there's no kind of I would use candlesticks for this because it's just easier to see. Zoom out and look at, like where we are now. We've had this, on the 15-minute chart, you can see that's where the market really broke structure and started reversing up, right? So that's where I'm drawing it now. Okay. And then on the 1 minute is just for scalps, like on the really small, like this tiny volume profile here is the 1 minute for this kind of move up. Because I'm looking for, it's unlikely that the market is just going to plummet. I mean, it can plummet down, and if it does, then I'm looking to buy here again aggressively. But in as it retraces into like the smaller time frames, little gaps, there's going to be enough of a reaction. I mean, we had a really big reaction here, which was slightly unexpected, but there's usually enough of a reaction where you can scalp within those little zones, and that's why I have it. Otherwise, you're waiting. Sometimes you might not even find a trade because then you're basically an intraday trader if you're just using 15-minute. But as a scalper, I use the 1 minute just to kind of know. And again, I'm using the bigger 15-minute zones to determine overall direction, right? So we broke this bigger zone, basically came back, almost retested it, and we're moving up. So I'm only looking to buy since we're above this zone. But the closer, as soon as we touch this zone here and we reject, I'm looking to short, right? I'm as soon as we're in here, I am only looking to short. I would not want to buy into this zone. Okay. If we break above it, though, on the other hand, and retest it and continue, then absolutely I'm back into all the buys. So I use the bigger zones not only for obvious trades when they do come along, but also to kind of know, to give me a bit of a sentiment whether I should be buying or selling as a whole, right? I hope that makes sense. So you knew a friend who knew a friend who knew some people to get your job. Straight out of pretty much when I was uni, yeah. So my best friend, he was so the guys who owned that company or that firm that I originally worked for, uh, they were British, obviously, but like Indian British. Um, and my best friend at the time, he's also Indian British, and they somehow knew each other through family relations, or whatever, and they got him like a job within the firm, like as a favor. And he managed to, and I was kind of like hungry for work, and he managed to get me an interview, and they liked me, and that's how I got the job. So basically, a friend got me the job, but there was also their family friends that kind of coordinate it all. So that's essentially how it happened. Um, Wolf of Wall Street type of story. Yeah, not quite. It was a lot more tame. There was nothing too mental. Wolf of Wall Street. That's a great film, but yeah, no. The trading floor was we didn't have anything crazy like that. I mean, there was a lot of jokes and a lot of but nothing close to anything like the Wolf of Wall Street. Best decision in your life? Oh, absolutely. I think dropping out of uni for taking that job was definitely the best decision because I would have never found trading. I mean, I probably would have eventually found it at some point, but I would have found it as a retail trader and watched YouTube video. I probably have given up because I probably would have ended up learning stuff that didn't really work for me, and then I was just given up and gone with something else. So 100%. Is your YouTube channel enough to learn order flow from zero? Um, yes, but there's a lot more videos I need to make as well. I mean, all the basics are pretty much there. I'm gonna do like a full strategy video. I'm gonna break down all the information is there, but it's all kind of jumbled up in random videos, like trade breakdown videos, this that. So I need to like kind of organize it, clear kind of each video for each kind, like a course, you know, volume profile. This is how you do it. Footprint. This is how you do it. Depth of market. This is how you do it. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got to actually make it like a course. But pretty much all the information is there. It's just all a bit scattered. How can I become a trader on a trading floor? You can't anymore, man. We guys, we're all unemployed. Traders just don't exist anymore. No one's hiring traders. They all want quantitative quants and all these, you know, mathematical whatever coders. We don't exist anymore. We're all out of business. So we can only be kind of retail traders now. Hedge funds still, you know, hire traders here and there, but there's no point. It's pretty much you can't get a job anymore as a trader. That's great. I'm an ACC ACA member and I want to work as a trader full time. Any guidance? Mohi, I mean, look, it depends where you are in the world. At least, like, which country are you from, Mohi? Because maybe, you know, where you are in the world, it might be different. But like in the UK, for example, like even in the city in London, Canary Wharf, like there's no trader jobs. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the big institutional banks still have traders on a trading floor. But these guys aren't actively trading anymore. They're like old school guys who were traders and they're now just kind of managing. They're more managers, if anything. They're kind of managing funds. They're managing all the quants, you know, all the mathematical gurus. But it's not like it doesn't really exist anymore as a profession. We've been taken over essentially by algorithms. Sam, are you in the mid-20s? I wish I was in the mid-20s. I'm mid-30s. I'm 35 this year. In a few months' time, I'll be 35. So, but I'm glad that I look like I'm in my 20s. So that's a good sign. Can you show a 1 minute leg you draw for scalping? Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's do this. A 1 minute leg I draw for scalping. Let me drop to the 1 minute real quick. So I'm just going to show the candlesticks. So this one here, you know, where we kind of consolidated and then pushed up, that would be one. But now that we've opened, market open, if you want to be a real aggressive scalper, this leg up here has good momentum. I will now be looking at any gaps within that, like there's a clear one right here. I would now want to also look on the footprint, what caused that gap, if there was actual heavy buyers coming in. And boom, we do have it. Look at that big institutional buyers, 370 right there. They gapped the market up. Great. This is now, they defended early. It already happened. But the idea is, you know, if you come back into that area, and I said this yesterday, it doesn't have to touch it to the T, right? The good chance is if people want to defend their position, they'll defend probably a bit earlier. They won't allow it to necessarily come to their break even. They'll start defending a bit earlier to keep price away from their, order or from their position. But yeah, essentially, that's how I would aggressively scalp it, right? You're waiting for like a clear kind of, all right, we had a good push up, great. I'm looking for the gap. There's like a really nice one. It lines up with the footprint. You can see the heavy buyers that came in and produced that gap. Are they still in the market? Yeah, probably. I mean, a lot of buyers got out of the market here. You can see this candle that moved down, this sharp bearish one, but that's probably going to be, you know, a combination of so many buyers all came in here. That's going to be a lot of these guys probably getting stopped out. And you can see where the volume really spikes, the 400 and 389. If you were to draw a line just where that happened, that's right below consolidation, this little kind of area. If you bought up here, there's a good chance. Where would you set your stop as a scalper? Probably just below there. So that's a lot of these guys in this area who bought getting stopped out essentially. Right? So again, you're applying logic to what you're seeing. Okay. So because of that, that's probably not fresh sellers. That's more, you know, people getting stopped out, right? So I wouldn't call that true sell pressure, but rather buyers getting stopped out who bought a bit too late. Because it makes sense with structure, and you can kind of see it just with the structure alone. You know, a lot of people would have put their stops around this kind of area, and then this candle just took out all their stops, and shit, you know, they all got stopped out, and that's why you got a big spike in volume there. But these guys who got in early, they're probably still likely in the market. I can almost guarantee they're still in the market because they started defending just before we got near their area. They started defending again and pushing that market up. So they're still happy. They're still good. So that was the opportunity to really, you know, potentially buy. And it would have been good to see what actually happened here in real time. Sadly, we missed it because you don't know what these numbers here were as they were developing. You know, this is -4 now, but this could have been -200, and then it dropped to -4, which means 196 aggressive buyers came in and pushed that number down, right? So you can see the real actual aggression in real time. Because remember, all you're seeing here on the delta is the difference between the buyers and sellers. You're not actually seeing, like right now, like just look at the number, right? 212, that means more sellers came in. Buyers are coming in, it's dropping back down to 160, 138. That's buyers coming in right there. Although it's red, you can actually see the buyers coming in. Do you see what I mean? They're not coming in too aggressively, and sellers are still coming in as well. We're back down to 200. You can just see it's kind of balanced, you know. Sellers keep reloading, buyers come in, but no one's coming in massively and really dropping that number to like you know, a really low or high number. So you want to see that in real time. Does that make sense? In the footprint. Buy limit at 26,010. 26,010. Yeah, that would be not a bad place. Not a bad place at all. That would be kind of where I would want to buy as well, in this area here. Oh, nice. Same age. Ah, perfect. Good stuff. Do you mind explaining what footprint is good for? I understand you can see institution manipulation, but how does that benefit you? I mean, I don't know how to answer that. I mean, like, it's obviously a benefit. Like, you can literally see the real buying and selling happening. So if you're interested in buying in an area and you can understand the story and you can track the big players, you can't do that with a candlestick. Like, if you just looking at candlestick, how would you know that there was a bunch of buyers there? Like, where do you know? Like, you can't see the absorption. You can't see anything really. Like, you can guess because, okay, look, there's a lot of wicks here. There's probably an iceberg. And you would be right. Like, there is probably an iceberg there. But when you have the raw numbers and the raw data, it just gives you a little bit extra confidence, right? Like, you're seeing the full market. I mean, of course it's a benefit. I mean, I don't know how else to word it, really. Like, whatever strategy you have, adding the footprint into it will help because it just gives you that extra clarity. Where do we see iceberg? So an iceberg is I mean, look, icebergs are everywhere, right? All the orders you're seeing on the depth of market, generally speaking, every single one of these is going to have some kind of iceberg, right? But you really only want to focus on the big icebergs. Like, here was an iceberg, right? 226, another 236, 320. This whole area here was obviously, there was a lot of sell limits in the book because all these buyers came in, but it didn't go up any higher. They got stopped at high volume, meaning the only reason it didn't go higher, and there's only one way it could ever, there's literally only one reason, and this is like confirmed fact, right? If you're seeing big volume come in and the market cannot go higher, the only reason it can that happens is because of an iceberg. There is no other situation where that could happen. All right. And that's simply because it doesn't actually have to be an iceberg, but a lot of sell limits on the book. Because the way the market works is when you hit buy, you get matched up with the next available sell limit, right? And if you hit sell, you get matched up with the next available buy limit, right? So if 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, call it almost 800 extra buy contracts come in and don't push the market up, that means there was 800 plus sell limits on that level, okay, to stop it from going up, right? The market can only clear or go up a level if you clear it, right? So you can see right now, if you look really carefully, there's like 7 or something in the next available level. If someone places 10 orders and clear that 7, the market will tick up one price level, right? So icebergs are everywhere, but you just want to really look at the obvious ones, okay? And again, you can still see that iceberg is still in play because look, again, another 300 came in, another 155, another 200. They still couldn't push it up. There is an iceberg here. Now, just knowing that isn't good enough, right? You need to now figure out, why is there an iceberg here? What's the reason for this iceberg? Are we at any kind of clear area in the chart where you would expect, take profits maybe? Because it could just be take profits. It doesn't have to be fresh sellers, right? So we'll mark out this area of the chart right now, right? Because think about it. If you enter a buy and you set a stop loss, your stop loss is a sell limit. So if you get to that and it gets triggered, your sell limit, so your take profit, gets matched up with an aggressive buyer. So it will appear, buyers taking profit will appear as aggressive buyers in the footprint. All right. So you got to ask yourself, would this be an area where people would take profit? Large amount of people. And you can, scroll to the left, see if there's anything obvious. If I go on 15-minute, are we at like a really obvious high? I mean, yeah, we're kind of at the highs, but there's a good chance, we've kind of, peaked a few times into that kind of little area. There's a good chance that this is probably quite a few buyers taking profit. So knowing that, you would now realize that buyers are actually verse, but some buyers getting out the market. And who those buyers are, I mean, that's anyone's guess, right? It could be people who bought down here. It could be someone who bought quite higher up. It could be someone who bought, ages ago. We're talking early in the day. We don't know, right? That's impossible to find out who these people are. But there is definitely some profit taking, right? But you don't just want to buy. That's why you don't want to enter just based on heavy volume. If you see like, oh, look, 320 buyers buy, you don't know if they're fresh buy. You don't actually know the situation or what's going on, right? That's the biggest mistake people make in trading the footprint. They just chase high volume without understanding the mechanics of what these numbers actually mean, okay? And like I explained earlier, like these aren't fresh sellers coming in at 400 and 389. That's just some of these buyers here getting stopped out. This is that kind of low of the range. As soon as we broke it, all their stops are there, all their stops get triggered. And that's why you're getting a big bunch of sell volume come in, right? So you're looking for those kind of, you're looking for like a fresh move. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't fall in line with an obvious one. So I wouldn't want to buy here right now because a lot of buyers I know are taking profit. Probably if other institutional buyers are exiting the market and taking profit, why would I jump in for a buy right now? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Oh, you can't see my chart? Well, oh, you can't see right now the footprint or anything. What can you see me still? Oh God. Okay, I'll stop sharing the screen. It looked fine on my end. Tell me if you can see it now. What about now? Can you see the chart? Okay. Don't know what happened there. I mean, on YouTube's end, it looked like normal for me. So no idea. But yeah. What was I saying? So yeah, I wouldn't want to jump in for a buy if a lot of people are exiting their buys. Also, don't want to jump in for a sell just because a few buyers got stopped out, because that's not true sell aggression. Yeah, appreciate that, everyone. Thank you for letting me know. That was weird. What settings, what footprint indicator you use? So it's not an indicator, it's a chart type. Yeah. So under all the different chart types, you got volume, footprint. But there's a video on my channel, how to set up the volume footprint on TradingView. You need to watch that video because it's not as simple as just selecting the footprint chart. You got to, buy the premium TradingView. You have to make sure you subscribe to the CME data feed. You got to make sure that what you're looking at, which instrument you're looking at, is actually a CME instrument. Otherwise, you get tick data. So there's a little bit of, but it's still very simple. But do watch the video, and that will clear it all up, because tick data is absolutely pointless. You have premium TradingView, perfect. Okay, so all you now need is the CME data subscription. You can get it off TradingView. Just scroll to the bottom of TradingView. Go tradingview.com, scroll to the bottom. You'll see CME futures, something like that. Subscribe to that, and then only use it where you see CME. And you can use it for gold as well. That's called COMEX. But like if you go GC, make sure you're on the futures as well. COMEX is fine as well. But yeah, like if you load it up on like the NAS 100, like a CFD, shit, what am I doing? CFD, oh God, broker, you see how different it is? Like, this is just tick data. This means absolutely nothing. You're not seeing any real volume. It's just, it's completely pointless, right? You might as well just use candlesticks. Whereas with the real volume, yeah, okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, perfect. You have it and you set it up. So the settings you wanted, the settings, row size I change depending on how volatile the market is. You'll see me change it constantly. But essentially, I just want each kind of cluster to be visually appealing and quite easy to spot, like a decent amount in ratio of the candle. Like I don't want, if I put this like to 8 ticks, like this is just too hard to kind of see where the clusters are. Like, all right, here you can kind of see it 100, 100, 100, but it's kind of harder for your eyes to spot where, big clusters of volume are. At least for me it is. Whereas if the clusters are a bit bigger, okay, 400, 800, like 300, easy to see, right? And then I have it as cluster view. Again, you can have profile view. Personally, I find it easier, again, to see cluster view. And then I have it as a delta. And then I got the table at the bottom, where I've got the delta percent, and the cumulative volume delta. And I leave all this unchecked. I don't bother with imbalances. And value area I leave off as well. And that's pretty much it. So very, very easy. Very simple. So let's see what we got here. Now this is where I can use the cumulative again, because we're ranging sideways. So we started at 2,630. Now we're at 2,680. So we're completely flat. There's no imbalance right now. Buyers and sellers are as aggressive with each other. We're completely flat. And we're going sideways. So the market's balanced. It's a true balance. There's no real absorption happening. I mean, there is absorption happening, but it's happening equally on both sides. So there's no kind of major imbalance right now. So this could go up or down. This has no, yeah. You only want to use, if we're going sideways, but you're seeing like, so we started the range at 2.6, 2,600. And then midway in the range, we got to 3,000. So an extra 400 buyers came in and we still only went sideways. So up until this point, buyers were less efficient than sellers, meaning it's more likely to go down. But then it quickly balanced itself out on the last few candles, which I guess is actually the way it broke out. So yeah, there was a slight imbalance more in favor of the sellers, but nothing huge. I mean, it's only 400 contracts. It wasn't like, oh, that's a huge one, So yeah, but I do want to see it come back into this kind of area potentially. But ideally, I want to be up here. Here is where I want to short. I really hope we get there in this session because that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really good trade. Let's just load up. Move this over here. See if we've got a potential trade. Awesome. See if there's any more comments. And that's it. I've updated. Why you got that desktop background? Oh, the desktop. Honestly, I don't even know. I didn't even set this. This is like it cycles through some random images. Every day when I load it up, like there's a new image, and today it's like a beaver or something. I have no idea. I don't know why I can't see it now. But yeah, every day is like a new desktop background, thanks to Microsoft. Bill Gates is trying to, I don't know, capybara, that's it, yeah. That's cool, I like a capybara, why not? Bill Gates loves capybaras, that's why. But sometimes there's a nice one, it's like a mountain or something, and a bit more blissful. Oh dear. Come on, market, wake up. Why did you say the extra 400 buyers earlier when imbalance of favor of the sellers? Right, so because the buyers, like when the market's completely flat here, right? You're looking at volume versus result, yeah? So 400 extra buyers came in here, right? But did the market go up or did it go down? Neither. It just went sideways. It remained completely flat, meaning 400 extra buyers, although there were more buy pressure, the more efficient side of the market were the sellers. Does that make sense? Therefore, you want to favor the sellers. Now, the bigger that imbalance is, if that was 2,000 extra buyers couldn't push it up, yeah, you pretty much want to sell then at that point. You're like, okay, this is like a really big divergence, essentially. It's no different to like a divergence, essentially, right? The market's going sideways. It's not going anywhere, meaning result-wise, neither buyers or sellers are winning, but buyers are trying harder and failing and are struggling more. So there's a good chance that, if sellers were to add more pressure, they will have a better luck at pushing it down than buyers pushing it up. Since I found you 2 weeks ago, you have changed the game for me. I now understand auction market theory and order flow, which has helped me code my own microstructure workstation based on MBO data. Thank you. Oh, wow, Charlie. That's an incredible comment, man. I'm really happy to hear that. Incredible stuff. That's such a good comment. I'm going to take a picture of that. That is awesome, man. I'm glad it's working out for you. Oh, I get it. So like you said, if 2K buyers extra could have moved the market up, it's a good idea to look for selling. Exactly. Yeah. definitely. But then obviously you want to kind of sell when you're near the top of the range, right? So if you get near the top of the range and you start seeing it, okay, sell pressure coming in, you can probably go for like a scalp sell, at least back to the bottom of the range, because there's a good chance, when you get to the bottom of the range again, it's just going to go back up and then go back down and go back up. So as a scalper, you might just want to take that little move and get out the market. Do you know what I mean? But remember, momentum can shift very quickly. Only because there was an imbalance or a half decent imbalance here, or divergence, if you want to call it that, doesn't mean that's going to spark off a massive downtrend and you're only looking to short for the next few hours. It could only go down a little bit, but enough for a scalp, and then the momentum can shift very quickly. So that's just a sad reality, because we're still very much in a bullish market right now, very, very much in a bullish market. And that's why earlier I was buying here. Okay, not only were we in that kind of gap, but the volume to result didn't look right. Do you know what I mean? I timed it really badly. But wasn't so much time. I was front running. That's all I was doing. I was just jumping in early before any buy pressure came in. But I did actually catch this move as well, so it was all good. But it's basically, the volume versus result doesn't kind of match up. It should kind of, get your attention. Drive, hello, how's it going? Going very well. How are you? Charis, same here. Lots of support. I have Paramjeet. I now have more control on my trade. Waiting is pain, but it's fine when I take profitable trade. Thanks a lot. I'm glad to hear it, man. Very glad to hear it. So the question is, if you have a huge selling iceberg formed with high delta, etc., doesn't it make sense to prepare a cannon shooting down? So the question is, if you have a huge selling iceberg formed with high delta, doesn't it make sense to prepare a cannon shooting down? Yeah, I mean, if it's like genuinely really big and it's just not breaking, and we're up now like 2,000, like you said, 2,000 contracts, and the sellers absorbed it all. Like the bigger it is, the more likelihood, okay, yeah, this is probably going to be better. So you can, jump in and prepare for that kind of movement down. Absolutely. But you just have to be prepared that it can shift. The momentum can shift very easily. But that's the tricky part with trading, right? Knowing when to get out sometimes is more difficult than knowing when to get in. And yeah, all thanks go to you. You are teaching real market dynamics, which is key for any successful trader. And I would highly recommend your channel to aspiring traders. Thank you, Charlie. I'm really, really, honestly, really, really glad that it's helping you. Now buyers coming in, I think, Sergey. Yeah, absolutely. So another good thing to really keep your eye on when looking at the order flow, and this makes more sense on higher time frames, right? 1 minute, yes, as well, but probably better on the 5 minute, is just look at the distribution of volume based on the candle. So if I just get rid of all drawings really quick, right? So here, I mean, this is all green. This was such heavy buying. But notice how right now, like in a range, as we went sideways, all the buyers at the top of the range, all the sellers at the bottom, but neither one is winning, right? So it's kind of the distribution of volume is basically, no matter if you're a buyer or seller, you're kind of in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Sellers are getting trapped, buyers are getting trapped. The distribution is relatively shit, right? But in a trending market, or when the market's momentum starts shifting, you will notice the distribution will look more like this candle that we're seeing now, where for a bullish candle, sellers are trapped at the bottom and buyers are nice and high at the top and center, and it's like a very nice bullish candle. No real coming. So this, to me, would be kind of more likely signaling a breakout, just based on how the candle and the distribution of the volume. Okay. But you want to kind of see, like, let me just get rid of all these drawing. I draw this crap so often, and I have to like manually. This pen tool sucks. But you can, I mean, this is pre-market, so I can't really show. We haven't really had much on the 5 minute, but if we look at the 1 minute real quick, you could probably see that shift a little bit easier. So we were kind of in the range, and the distribution of volume is kind of, it's either all green or all red, or it's just sort of doji type candles, right? And then really it started changing a little bit. It's not perfect. It's not a great example. I don't want to put too much focus on that candle, for example, but the candle that sparked off the up move, you can see the distribution of volume. Sellers at the bottom, buyers at the top. And it kind of sparked off a nice move with no real major slowdown. To me, that would be a good kind of anchor point of, okay, this is, you know, if we get a little pullback, I'd be happy to buy here. Like, this could be a legit move out now. Do you know what I mean? Trading is not a Pokemon. You can't catch them all. So patience is the key. Is the key. Absolutely. Absolutely. Patience is always key. Tiger, good to see you. What's up? How have you been, Tiger? You're great at explaining stuff to newbies like most of us. Hope you're aware that you are making a difference for us. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I'm glad it's, you know, easy to understand, and because it is really ultimately actually very simple to understand. It's just a lot of it is, you got to almost think backwards. Do you know what I mean? It's because there's always two sides to the market. You know, you got the aggressive and passive participants, people in the order book and people doing market orders. And well, not annoyingly, because the footprint wouldn't work if it showed both sides. But if there was a like, you know what? I'm surprised no one's come up with it, right? But actually, no, it wouldn't work, because it would just be pure balance. Forget what I was about to say. But yeah, the footprint can only show one side of the market, the aggressive side, because if it showed the passive side as well, everything would just be zero, because there is always an opposite trade. Do you know what I mean? But I guess that's what a heat map is. A heat map just plots the order book as, you know, lines. So that's like book map and stuff like that. So I guess that actually already exists. But yeah. So where are we in terms of, we're still not really anywhere. I'm just going to update this volume profile. Yeah, it's still a bit, really up here. This is where I'm looking to sell. We're just kind of grinding up a bit. Hope we get to 26,100. Are you selling there? 26,100. A little bit higher up than 26,100. My area starts at like 132. But I wouldn't be surprised if it drops a bit before, because it has done that in the past, annoyingly. Like every time it got close to this area, it dropped like here. It never quite reached it. Got close to it, close to it, close to it, never quite reached it. So yeah, 100 is kind of where it always dropped before. But no, I drew the gap wrong again. The gap is all the way here. What is going on? Why do I keep drawing this gap wrong? You know what? I'm going to show you how to find the gap to the T, okay? We're going to make this simple. So if you want to really zoom down in a gap, you just increase the row size, right? So we start out with the big gap. I'm going to increase it to 50. And I'm going to look, where does the drop in volume actually occur? There's the updated gap. So I'm going to draw a box around that one. Okay. And I'm going to, again, increase it to get it even smaller until it basically cannot show you any more detail. So I'm going to do this to 100. So there's actually two little gaps within it. There's one there and there's one here. Okay. So we're just going to make that a little bit better. And then we'll draw out this one. We're going to keep increasing it. I'm just going to manually type this. Let's do 200. I'll make that even smaller. And that one there. And I think 200 is good. So let's get rid of the big area. And now that we got the pinpointed ones, okay, so that's where it actually tests. So it did actually touch to the T before. That's the real gap. Do you see what I mean? Because sometimes on a big area, the true gap in volume is within that area somewhere. And here you can see that's where it actually to the T found it and rejected last time. So now I've got the gaps, you know, nicely kind of marked out. And there should be, I mean, it kind of blew a little bit through, but it's still within that kind of range. So yeah, anywhere still within there, but there seems to be another one kind of midway. Maybe if I make it even smaller, I'll be able to find where that one is. So let's drop it to 500. Why not? Let's see if we can pinpoint it even better. No, it's not really. I mean, this is the higher volume, so it kind of rejected more within the high volume of two separate gaps. Fair play. But either way, as long as we're still in that kind of overall area, I'll be looking to sell. Sometimes it will respect it to the T. Other times it will, you know, go a bit over and overshoot. But as long as we're in that area, I am happy. I'm happy to sell. So let's get it back to 24. We can actually show the full area. Cool. So I'm not, where the hell's the, come on. So my original area was actually, a bit high up, to be fair. So we're in that. Oh, we've just reached it now. Oh, amazing. Okay, we're in the first one. A little bit early. We're in the first one. Didn't realize we got there. Very nice. Okay. So are the low volume nodes more of a price void that accelerates price movement or a magnet? If it is a magnet, what is the difference with high volume node that acts as a magnet? So yeah, no, low volume nodes are less of a magnet, but more of a kind of accelerant, like you said. Doesn't have to get to a low volume node. Higher volume acts more like a magnet. Low volume nodes more of a rejection type thing. Like just the market doesn't want to be there. So it goes very quickly away from it. So when it gets there, expect some kind of reaction, and that's all you need as a scalper. You can also compare CVD with open interest to achieve that. Yes, you can. Very true. Very true. You can indeed. It's not you. The frame FRVP shifts slightly here, and there are that causes your drawings to appear to have moved. Happens to, oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. So you didn't look for longs today. No, I did take longs. I did. I took a long, well, it depends on which account you ask, but I took, okay. So on this account, which is just a demo account, doesn't mean anything. I front runned it and basically jumped in here. And then I got stopped out like to the T, literally where my stop is. It touched it. But then in my cash account, I jumped in around here and I got out somewhere here. So I did take a long. And then we were talking for ages and it just kept going and kept going. We never really had a great pullback. Like this was all right. It was a bit of a pullback, but we never really reached the next area where I would want to buy. So I don't want to chase it. I don't really want to buy until we get some decent pullback. But I am now looking more likely, like I would still happily buy if we have a little pullback into this area. I'll happily still buy. But as we're now in this kind of gap area, longer term gap, I am looking more for potentially shorting the market. But I'd want to see a bit of speed from the market. It's a bit too quiet and calm for my liking. And the candles have really become smaller as well, because I've just had to drop the ticks per row on the footprint. But it's to me, it's looking like a lot of profit takings happening from longer term buyers. You're getting always these kind of big chunk of buyers appear. And I think these are a lot of take profits basically getting hit. All these chunks. I don't think they're, buyers, fresh buyers buying so much. It's more profit taking, essentially. Take profits. So there's a lot of buyers exiting the market. So it's going to slow down a bit, the market. Now, once true sell aggression comes in and that shifts, we will have a sell. So I'm going to wait a little bit. I think I mean, look at there on the order book right there, 401 at just above the high at 100. Now that could be spoofing, could be a fake order, right? Spoofing and gets cancelled as we get there. But right there on the order book, I hope you guys can see it. 400. So that's, I mean, that could be a big take profit. I mean, it's obviously going to be a take profit, right? That's not 400 people willing to sell. That is a buy take profit. The only weird thing about it is that it's visible. Most institutions won't make it visible like that. So that is a bit of spoofing, in my opinion. I think there's a good chance it will get pulled and cancelled before it, in order to try it. Now that is totally illegal, but it happens all the time. But if it's legit, sometimes it is legit. Sometimes, they do actually get executed, and all of a sudden, boom, you've, big buyers out the market. And that's when, shit starts happening. So there was another little gap formed right here, right? As we started pushing up, we formed another one. And you can look at the footprint and see what formed that gap. So there was some, big buying happening, but considering we're so high up, I'm going to be more, again, a little bit on edge about buying. If we dip into this gap, I'm not really going to be looking to buy it, just because we're within a bigger long-term gap that should create sell pressure. And everyone is getting out the market because we're at those highs. So you don't really want to buy into the highs. Do you know what I mean? You always want to be on extremes in the market to be safe. So even though there's a small 1 minute gap formed here, I'm not even going to pay attention to it. All right. It's not for me. I want to see the shift in momentum. I want to see some kind of, true rejection take place. Now, you never know. It doesn't have to. It doesn't actually have to do anything. It could just keep going up and up and up, slowly and surely. But I'll be very surprised if it just keeps going and doesn't stop. I think definitely up here at that higher end, where this has never been tested before, I think this is going to have a very good reaction, this whole area. And this is where you're going to get some very interesting stuff happen. Because it doesn't really look like it wants to do anything right now. There's just buyers getting out the market and their take profits are being hit. Very tight stop you have. Yeah, I'll always, especially from front running, you got to have a tight stop when you're front running because you're entering before there's real confirmation, just to try and hopefully, get early on in the move so you can add. If the move goes into your favor, you can add more size. But amount at 26,100. Yeah, yeah, 26,100 seems to be where the majority of take profits are. They're still there, still in the book as well. Are there any times of the day you don't trade? Yeah, like pre-market and later on. I mean, later on is fine, but before NY Open, I generally don't trade. Big love from Afghanistan, bravo. Good to see you, Afghan bit. Good to see you. Oh, what? Could you explain a bit more about legality of spoofing? Yeah, so spoofing is like totally illegal. Because what you're doing is you're essentially manipulating. You're not really manipulating the price because that requires aggression, but you're manipulating people's perception, right? Like if I add right now 500 contracts, buy contracts at the bottom here, and I never have any intention of them actually, being triggered. Naturally, people are going to see 500 in the book and be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't want to sell into that." No, everyone's going to stop selling, right? If you just see, here, there's 500 buyers waiting to be executed. No one's really going to want to sell into that because that's scary, right? It's a lot of volume. So you're going to slow down the amount of sellers coming into the market, and that's manipulating the market without having real intentions of actually buying. So it is totally illegal. Now it's very hard to prosecute because you can change your mind. You can say I want to buy here, but then you say actually nah, change my mind and you cancel. That's not illegal. But so many, they used to use so many of these institutions used to use like crazy algorithms that these spoofing algorithms. There was a dude from like the UK who got basically used as a scapegoat for it was like the 2010 flash crash that we had. He was used as the scapegoat for it because he coded some algo that basically did like constant spoofing, and he was able to essentially manipulate the market, right, and people's perceptions. And he made like 10 million or something from it. So he did very well for himself. I mean, he did end up in prison, but nonetheless, he did very well for himself financially. And yeah, when the flash crash happened, they blamed it on him and his spoofing algorithm, basically. And there was a bunch of HFT type algorithms that believed the spoofing was real or whatever, and it caused some kind of, I don't know what it. There was an explanation once, and basically it caused a flash crash, and billions were wiped out, but then instantly went back up. And ever since then, spoofing has been like, yeah, you use some algorithm to spoof, they'll come onto you. But the thing is, who's going to rat you out? Do you know what I mean? Your broker, maybe. I mean, if you're doing it with like a couple of contracts, no one's going to care. It's only if you're doing it with large numbers again. And I can imagine if you're an institution and you've got friends in the right places, nothing would actually happen to you. So, yeah. We go up 99%, bro, 6 ticks from my profit. Crazy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, literally. So damn close. But that's because, again, everyone can see in the book at 100, there is a ton of sellers. No one wants to get closer anymore. Do you know what I mean? People will stop buying into that. And that's exactly why spoofing is dangerous and illegal. Because if you're showing intentions of wanting to sell here, like huge amount, who the hell's going to buy into that? No one's going to buy into that, right? It's just stupid. You're guaranteed to lose. But if you're not serious about selling, and the moment we get close to it, you pull that order just to kind of manipulate the price and never let it get executed, that's why it's illegal, right? That's spoofing. But that could be, those 400 we add up there, that could be legit people, actually taking profit. It would make sense. It's a round number. It would make sense that it's a legit take profit, and that's why it doesn't quite want to get there as well. Sam, those low volume zones and in corporate footprint, really great tools for quick scalps. I watched your video yesterday and looking forward for more uploads. They are great lessons. I'm glad, TM Cloud, that they helped you. I do have many more I'm working on. So there's going to be a lot more like videos like that. Do you think you have to go to jail to have a successful outcome? Yeah, all right. It wasn't successful, so I'm sure he's still got plenty of money in his pocket hidden away somewhere. So he's done all right. I don't know how many years he got, but I don't think it was that major. I think he got a bit of. I actually have no idea. I think he only went down for a few years, but that's the question. Would you want 10 million or do like 3 years in prison? It'll probably be quite a cushy prison because you're rich. I don't know. Might be worth it for a bit of spoofing. By the way, I bought now. Nice. Yeah, I can see why you'd want to buy, especially these guys here. There's definitely an iceberg sitting here, blocking the sellers from going any lower. I just want to see if there's any good gaps. Yeah, we've got nothing until down here, unfortunately. We've got the point of control where I can imagine the point of control is going to cause a bit of movement. But yeah, not a bad buy. How is it not a good short scalp? How is now not a good short scalp? Truth be told, I wasn't actually looking too deeply into the live order flow. I still want to wait as it goes a bit higher. I mean, I'm looking for speed as well, and it's very slow right now. I think, I don't know, the numbers aren't big enough yet. The numbers aren't big enough for the area. We're seeing tads of decent sized numbers, but it's just not big enough for this area. I want to see something a bit more extreme. And it's been very slow, meaning there wasn't much aggression really, like quick aggression. It's been a very big kind of collective slowly getting out the market. You want to see a bit of like, a bit of speed, a bit of like chunks of aggression, like bigger chunks coming in. This is all mostly kind of collective, I think. Just lots of people as a whole are kind of, setting their take profits there and getting out the market, rather than like one big institution saying, right, I want to jump in short and boom, slapping on a nice, accumulating a big order and slapping on a big kind of, to spark off and start defending aggressively. That's when like, all right, because now you can really know the kind of area where you expect it to hold. Brother, when I learn a lot from you, I'm glad you're learning a lot. I'm very glad you're learning a lot. Well, spend 5 mil on your fellow prisoners to look after you, and you get out a king. I mean, yeah. Spend 5 million, exactly. You'll be a king within the prison. Might be worth it. You never know. Come out with a bit of street cred. I think the ladies will like that as well. You never know. What is the configuration of volume profile area, work or not? The configuration is pretty much default for me. So numbers of rows, I set that to 24. The volume up, down, or you can do total. It's the exact same thing. And the value area, I just keep it at 100%. Because I want to see the full volume profile. I don't want to just see, because the value area will only show you where the majority of volume is. So that's like the value area. And I kind of want to see, I'm all about the low volume. So I think you'll be in prison for showing footprint charts and intentions of institutions. Institutions can change their minds too. Yeah, they can, but some of these institutions are dodgy as hell. Dodgy as hell. They get away with anything. This is the reality, though. I mean, it's not even a conspiracy. Like, everyone knows it. But you got enough money, you can. There's nothing illegal if you have enough money. Everything can be bought, and that's why you got like these massive companies that did crazy shit. Like I saw a documentary recently about like Teflon or something. I poisoned all these people, and there was some other company that dumped like some chemical in the water, and loads of people had like really bad like birth defects and stuff. I mean, nothing really ever happened. Like, no criminal charges were ever put to any of these people who made these decisions. Little fine, which was next to nothing for them. Like, you've got enough money, it's fine. As long as you don't piss off the wrong people. So, although it's illegal, it happens all the time. Like, you will see it if you were to stare at the book for long enough. You will see spoofing happen. Like, constantly, you'll see it happen. I see a bit bigger chunk of orders at the top here somewhere. It's just market, so it keeps disappearing. But I saw a bigger chunk around. I don't know. Are you candlesticks just delta? Yes, just delta. But here's the caveat with delta, right? If you're using just the delta, you can miss information, right? Because sometimes when there's low delta, you automatically would assume, like this -5, you would assume, oh, that's low volume. Not true, right? I mean, it can be true, but there could actually be a lot of volume right there. The difference is only -5. So when you switch on the buy and sell, well, that doesn't make any sense. How the fuck can it? Oh, I'm looking at two separate candles. I was like, how's that -5? Here it is, right? It's 11 and 6. So yeah, okay, that was genuinely low volume, right? But like here's high volume, right? 232 and 244. The difference is not a lot, right? It's only 12 difference, but that's a lot of volume. So what's good about the delta? What you should do when you're like trading with just the delta, because you do just want to kind of know the difference. That is important. You want to see the live update of how it's updating to kind of get a gauge of, like right now, this is relatively low volume, right? -6, -10. We've never really jumped into big numbers. So, all right, low volume. 18 back to 5. 56. All right, that was a bit of a chunk there, a bit of a chunk of buying, but still relatively low, nothing huge. Back up to 6. So you want to see the real-time movement, the real-time change in volume as you're, in these areas of interest to kind of gauge it. Otherwise, yeah, you would want to use the buy and sell and try to do the math yourself. Some people find it easier to look at, both sides. All right, 189, 190 is a bit more buying, bit more selling, bit more selling. You can do it like that, absolutely. It's entirely up to you how your brain likes to look at it. So it's well worth trying both versions out. Personally, I prefer the delta. I just like to look at one number and kind of just see the movement. All right, look, a bunch of buying came in. Sellers, there's no selling, only a little bit. Okay, it's looking good for the buyers. Do you see what I mean? So, but essentially, you're seeing the same information. It's just two different ways. Annoyingly, TradingView doesn't give you a double-sided footprint, which I'm sure they will at some point. This is the only thing they're still a bit ancient about. A double-sided footprint will basically have, on one side, you can have two columns. You can have the delta and the buy and sell or ask and bid or whatever on the other side. And you can choose, you can have both then either side. Pretty much every order flow platform gives you that, except TradingView. So they're I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, I'm surprised they haven't yet released that, but they will at some point, almost guaranteed. Also, you're a Brit too. I am indeed. You come with 5 mil. I'm in confirmation. Oh boy, my buy rocketed again. Yeah, no, really good buy you got in there, Charis. Really good. Closed at 86. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely buy. ICT is crying. No comment. No comment. Again, look, I don't know the ICT. I've never watched any of the videos. I don't actually know what they teach, so I can't really comment. But closed at 86. Hi, Sammy. Fatty, good to see you. How are you? Damien, I use deep charts. I got the delta under the bid. Bid and ask. Yeah. So deep chart. I keep forgetting. I want to really try out deep charts. I keep forgetting to get the time to have a good test. But it does look really good. How are you finding deep charts? How much is good volume? Depends on the asset. NQ, I would say anything kind of over 100 delta on like an individual kind of area or cluster, I would say is decent. If you ever see it go, 300 plus, really keep your eye on it. That's like a lot. Yeah. So to find out what the range is, it's just, just look around. Just literally have a look. What do you see? And it because it can depend on the type of market you're currently in. Like obviously more volatile times might have more volume, it can change the range. So you really do want to kind of look around at the overall candles, have a look, right? We've got 80, 60, 90, 100. All right, so 200 is kind of, big. Another 200. So just kind of find a range, figure it out, and then you can kind of know what's high volume for that market. Yeah. But there's no kind of blanket rule that this number is the number, that considered high volume. It depends on the situation. All right. What would you say that the most important order flow tools are? Are you cumulative volume delta, footprint with bid ask and delta and volume profile for low volume? Mate, Damien, exactly that. That's literally what I use, right? Except for the bid and ask. I would love to have the bid and ask as well, but I haven't released a second column yet, so maybe at some. But I can make do without it. But I've also got like bid on ask on like Go Charting and other platforms. If I really want it, I can have it on a separate screen. But yeah, that's definitely like the most important stuff. Cumulative, I use for ranges. Whenever we're going sideways on a tight range, I look at the cumulative to see, where the imbalance, which side is more efficient. Volume profile, I mark out low volume node for areas where I want to actually trade in, and then the footprint I use for when we get to that area to actually make a decision whether I should be entering. Charis, deep charts is the shit. Nice. I really want to use it. All right, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna sign up to deep charts. I really want to use it because it looks so good, man. It looks so good. It's just I know they're new, and I'm thinking like maybe it's got loads of bugs in it, but yeah, if you guys recommend it, I'll try it, man. I'll try it. How long did it take you to size up to where you are at today? Years, man, years. Like genuinely long time. Too long. Too long. But that's it, though. I mean, you genuinely like look. You're always going to get stories of people who made a shit ton of money really quickly, and there is always going to be an element of luck to that, right? But and naturally, some people are more better at trading naturally than other people. They're just their characteristics suit trading a bit more. Like if you're like a very emotionless type person, you'd probably be a good trader. You might not be a nice person in general, but you could probably be a decent trader, right? Whereas someone who's more empathetic in nature and a bit more emotional, I think, without trying to get cancelled here, but I think that's generally why trading is a very male orientated space as well, as a whole. Because I think, if you were to look at like the average man versus female, I feel men are probably less emotional as a whole. So I think that's probably why it's definitely more of a male orientated space. I think. I mean, I could just be talking out my ass here, but you also get very good female traders, like really, really good ones. But you don't find that many female traders, and I think that's probably why. Because it's not really like, I don't know, why does it make it so male orientated trading? I really don't know. Because it's not like you're doing a job that's, I don't know, you're working on an oil rig or something. Do you know what I mean? You're doing like really heavy work that requires, a lot of strength or something, like physical demanding work. I don't get it, but yeah. But yeah, take your time with it, man. Take your time with it. That's essentially. Uh, it's pretty complicated. I'm still learning. I got it today. Oh, you're talking about deep charts. Oh, okay, cool. Well, let me know as you get how you get on with it. I'm going to sign up and I'm going to check it out. I have Mac though, unfortunately. Does it only run on Windows? Or is it web based as well? Does deep charts have like Trading View? Because that's what I love about Trading View as well. The fact that it's web based. I hate the idea of having to download a software, and then if you ever change your computer, you're gonna freaking save a template file and read that. It's just I don't know. Like, get with the times, man. Everything's got to be cloud based nowadays, right? You just log in, boom, it's there. Like, so much easier. All your settings, all your charts, all the drawings, everything's back to how you like it. You don't have to redo all that crap. Lovely. Yep, the levels and absorption. I just watched a volume profile video. Mario, very nice. What did you think? Did you like it? You have a boot camp with Fabio Valentini too. Yes, world class scalper. Yes, I've seen him, and what's his name? Andrea Kimi, something like that. Yeah, I got them on Instagram. I've seen a few of their things. Really cool. Yeah, those guys are legit. They're good. They're really good. What is the confirmation of volume profile area to buy or sell? The confirmation, there could be multiple confirmations, right? I'll have to make a really in-depth video because there's so many layers to it, and this is the thing. Like, all right, I'll explain this in like 1 minute as a short kind of explanation, and then I'll make a video at some point, really like deep dive into it. But this gap in volume, I've drawn it out. I expect to see the reason this gap was created. I expect because heavy buying, aggressive buying came in and blew through this area very quickly, hence why we got a gap. And if we go to the footprint, yeah, we can see that. Bunch of heavy buying came in, right? Which gapped up the market. Great. Now, if we come like very quickly back into that area, right? So we now know there is some big institution who's just aggressively bought. They're going to want to protect that, right? If we come back into that area, like relatively quickly, they're still going to be in the market, number one. They haven't left yet, right? And they're going to probably want to defend. Two things are going to happen, right, in that situation. If they want to defend, you're going to see lots of aggressive buying come in again. That's when you're like, all right, cool, I want to jump in because I'm going to side myself with the big guys, right? And then the market should go up. Doesn't have to, of course, but high probability it will, right? Or it could go back into that area where they entered and they think, actually, no, I think they lose faith in their own position. And they think, yeah, I don't think it's going to work out. And they decide to get out at break even, or, basically get out of their at their area where they entered. And you're going to see now instead sell, a bunch of sells come in as they get out, right? So in that situation, when you get a gap that happened very quickly because of aggressive institutional buying, and then it returns back into that area very quickly, you're going to expect either defense or they'll just give up at break even. So depending what the footprint shows you in that moment is what you know what you do. If you see a bunch of sellers, all right, probably not. They've got out the market. They're no longer in the market, those buyers. I'm not going to buy. If you see those buyers start coming in again, yeah, cool. I'm jumping in with them, right? So that's like one scenario. On another scenario, if it's like an older area, like this area now, they've been there for a while, okay, and you could probably, they've been there for a while. If we get back to that area, the question now is, do you think those buyers are still in the market? Hard to tell. It's been quite a while. They've probably taken some profit, right? They probably got out near the highs. They might have got out here. Who knows, right? Hard to kind of guess where these guys are still, right? Because it's been a long time. If they did get out, you're not really going to be able to match them up and say, oh, those are those buyers, because it's who knows now at this point. So if we come back into that area now, what are we expecting to see? Well, we expect some kind of reaction. People know that is where buyers came in. So there's going to be other traders out there who also be like, yeah, this is going to be a great place to buy, right? So not so much the original buyers defending, but other traders coming in. But there is no active position to defend anymore, okay? So now two things could happen. We could either come back into that area, and if we see, again, a bunch of aggressive buying coming in, then we know, right, loads of buyers are coming in. Great, we can probably jump in, all right, for a buy. But this time, if we see a bunch of sellers come in, all right, trying to get past this area, but the price, and they're getting absorbed, in other words, they're just not moving it down anymore, okay, that's telling me, but there are buyers coming in, but they're coming in passively to build up a bigger position. Interesting, okay? So, because there is nothing left to defend anymore, it's more about just they use that area as a good place to potentially enter. So they've put limit orders in that area, right? So if I see absorption, so which would look like, a bunch of sells, big sellers coming in, but the price isn't going down, I wouldn't think, oh no, this is not going to work out. I would now, look at it and be like, okay, interesting. We've got absorption. I just want to see some buy aggression come in and break those, break a bit higher and squeeze some of these sellers out. And if big buyers come in, a few hundred, whatever, and we start going up, great, jump in for the buy, right? So again, it depends on the situation of the area. If it's very, recent, and those buyers or sellers or whatever, if it's a downward market, are still in the market, it's a bit easier to read because you know what those people are doing. If it's a bit of an older area and they're no longer in the market, then it comes, you're looking at, again, what you're not looking for defense, but you're looking for some kind of entry. So there's a difference between defense and entry, because you don't defend a position passively. It doesn't make a difference. You don't really defend it passively because you don't move the market passively. The only way to defend is to be aggressive. So defensive play will always look on the footprint. For buyers, defensive will always be buy contracts, green. Defensive play for sellers will always be red contracts, sells, right? By the way, order flow traders talk shit about ICT, but what they don't know is that ICT copied the theories of J. Steinmeier, father of volume profile. Interesting. Yeah, I've never really, honestly, I've never really looked into ICT. I actually don't know what they teach. I hear some of their terms about, but I've never looked into it, so I don't know. But if it's based on, volume profile and things like that, then yeah, absolutely. The theory would be correct. The only question is, how can I use the volume profile to trade every day? I mean, more often, because at the video you show levels that the price is going to hit in weeks, not days. Yes. So great question, Mario. You can do it on the 1 minute chart, right? I have the bigger areas, and I explained this earlier on in the stream. So on the 15-minute chart, I mark out the bigger kind of areas, yeah? So this is like a big move up on the 15-minute. So I'm marking out the gaps on the volume profile of these areas. And I use those areas as kind of direction overall for the day, right? So, we're trading above this area here today when we opened, and even yesterday, etc. We're trading above that area. So I'm generally only looking to potentially buy, right? But now we're getting into another big area, another big gap, a long-term gap that was created many, many times ago. It's here, right? It keeps shifting. I don't know why it keeps shifting. It's so annoying. Every time I change the view, it shifts a bit, but it's around this place somewhere, right? I am now not looking to buy into that anymore until we break above it. I'm only looking to sell, okay? So as we're in this kind of whole area, I'm looking for some clear kind of indication on the footprint, right? This is a sell. But because it's a big area, it's going to take a bit of time as well. It's not going to be like an instant kind of, the moment it touches it, boom. You probably got a bit more time to make your decision. Now, if you want like quicker trades, the scalps. So now that I know I'm only looking to buy, like earlier on, I was only looking to buy because we're above that area. I would use, a 1 minute chart here. I'll put it on candlesticks and I'll draw out the areas of gaps, where it could potentially retrace to and, bounce off of, etc. So, but it's a very slow market we have today. Like we haven't actually moved much today. The market's very, very slow as a whole. There's a gap, which annoyingly, it kind of up there, never mind. But yeah, we haven't moved that much today. 150 points, that's not a lot for the NQ. Considering since the open, it's been a very kind of slow market. That's because everyone's just getting out of the market essentially. Everyone's just taking profit, so it's just dying off a bit, and we're not really moving anywhere. But I would expect some kind of reaction soon. I'm hoping at least. But yeah, the volume again, you can just see people taking profit right there at 100. So yeah, it did get executed. Was it Charis? I think. I can't remember who it was in the chat. 100. It wasn't a spoof order. It was real. It got executed. You can see 300 plus another 151 at 26,100. It actually did get executed, meaning it wasn't a spoof. It was legit take profits. There you go. Women tend to care more about being pretty than numbers on a chart. Yeah, well, probably that's why there are less women in trading. Yeah, I always wondered, Go Charting order flow platform is good. Yeah, Go Charting is pretty decent. I have it as well. I use it occasionally. They have preset templates. For not Go Charting, for what is it called now? Deep charts. There we go. Make a video how to trade volume profile in low time frames like 15-minute, 5-minute. I mean, it's exactly what I did in the longer time frames. You're just doing it on a 1-minute chart. Just it's no different. The same exact thing. Afghan bit. All right. It literally doesn't change. And I think I do actually show in the volume profile video towards the end, the end half, I show you on the 1-minute chart how I would trade it. Right. My take profit still not hit. So, was it Sergey? It was Sergey. My take profit still not hit. So funny, the 26,100 level. I think we push above there. We're ready to go higher. Finally, 26. There it is. Yeah, it was you, Sergey. Yeah. So then it is wise to use those 15-minute zones because a lot of time goes by. It seems like volume zones work best for short span. Like you said, defending zones are conceding. Yeah, I mean, both work very well. The big longer term zones, you're going to have more likely bigger moves occur from them, right? So these are going to be big corrections, maybe even a proper reversal. So those are the zones where if you time it right and you can really scale into your positions, do you know what I mean, and make a lot of money. For the smaller ones, they're literally just scalps, right? Little, okay, someone's defending, you grab 20 points, you get out. Do you know what I mean? Um, so you kind of have to, switch your style a bit. The volume profile video is so good. Thank you, Afghan Bit. It's arrogance because if you use ICT with order flow for executions, you have crazy strategy. Yeah, I can imagine if the theory is based on like volume profile and things like that, the theory would be ultimately correct. And then the only thing kind of missing would be just use the actual data as well. You don't have to guess about the data anymore. You got it now. So, actually they broke it, but didn't move down. I think it will go up. What's up, dude? Mythic Trader, good to see you. It's been a while. What session best for trading? Depends on the instrument. If you're trading, any US equity, like the Nasdaq, S&P, obviously New York, when the New York session opens, is the best, right? Anytime America's open, that's when you want to be trading. If you're trading like Forex pairs, now you wouldn't be able to use order flow for that, but if you're trading like, yen, probably in the Asian session, it's going to be better. If you're trading gold, is kind of pretty much any time it can wake up. Gold's a bit mental, but depends on the instrument. All right. I think next would be 26,130. Oops, 130. You know what? I would love for it to go a little bit higher. 140. This is where the next tiny gap or decent gap within this whole kind of area, which is a drop in volume, is. So I think, in my personal opinion, if we're going to have a hard rejection, like the hardest one will come from here. I think it was going to do a really nice rejection around 140 because that's never been tested. It got very close, never truly been tested, and that is, that's kind of. But it can happen earlier. Like, if you were waiting for 140 back here, you would have been a bit disappointed, right? You're 100 points off, but I would love for it to get to about 140. I don't think it will do it today. I mean, it might do it today, but it's very slow. Everyone's just getting out the market. This is the problem. There's no real conviction of trying to move. Every buyer recognizes we're at the top. No one really wants to buy yet until we have a proper breakout. Sellers, yes, they're coming in, but they're just essentially, I don't know, maybe because it's FOMC tomorrow. There's just not enough really. I mean, you're looking at the volume; it's low, and any big spikes in volume are just take profits. Like, this is all just take profits again. People setting it. There's no real, there's no real volume right now. People are just kind of happy, which is slightly annoying. So you don't use like daily volume profile, for example, watching value area low, high, point of control from yesterday. No, I don't. I mean, look, a lot of people do, and it's absolutely fine to do that. That is a legit strategy. Personally, it just becomes too cluttered for me if I start measuring, like, oh, here's the value area of yesterday, the high, the low, the point of control, all that stuff just becomes a bit too cluttered for me. I'm more interested about where the move started, what caused that move, and if there's defense or some kind of, I'm more interested in the legs that kick things off, that's more it for me, like even this leg up here and this leg's like, we had a good retracement here. If I do a volume profile from here to here, there's a high chance it rejected on the low volume node. Like, I don't know, but there's a high chance if I just do it from here to here. And yeah, right there it is, a little gap in volume. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking for like those kind of moves more, right? And this is a 1 minute chart. All right, like for that retracement to occur, it was earlier on, boom, 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 and then literally an hour, that retracement, and then you got the move. So like, there are opportunities, plenty of them. But yeah, otherwise it becomes a bit too messy and confusing for me. I am good. How was your day? Not bad, Mythic Trader. Thank you for asking. I am buying, targeting 25,130. Go for it, man. Go for it. Go for it. I think right now it's pretty safe to buy the dip. Oh, there is a little gap created right here. But again, I don't really want to. It's where we are on the chart. That's the only reason I don't want to buy. If we weren't in this low volume node, which has rejected multiple times in the past now, and caused serious reversals, like the amount of times this area just held up, boom, boom, boom. If we weren't there, and this was just like a normal area, absolutely, I would be buying the dip on every pullback. I'll be looking to buy the dip, but I just can't get myself to buy at the top. It's like something in my head that just doesn't allow me to do it. I'm too yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's it could very easily just keep going up for a bit, like 100%. There's no, it could reverse. If it is going to reverse, it could reverse anywhere here. You could do it here. It's very hard to tell. I'm not seeing anything yet that tells me it's going to reverse, so it's pretty safe for the most part. Like if you were to buy, but I'll just be a little bit cautious because all of a sudden there could be some institutional seller, bang, comes in a bit aggressively, built up an order, and you can get caught out. I hope one day we get 1 million subs in your channel because you share Diamond for free. I mean, 1 million would be insane. Are there any trading channels with over 1 million? I mean, there must be, but that would be incredibly. That would be amazing. I'm trading the exact same way I put it on the leg that broke structure. I don't need to know historical data. I'm not guessing the market. I'm reaching out on current state. Exactly the same, Damien. Yeah, I feel like me and you, we trade exactly the same. So awesome stuff. Making a scalp right now with 0.5% of my full targeting 26,130. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Just because it happens multiple times, I have the belief this is the time we break. Risky, but I risk my profits. No, it's fair play. Like, the reality is, honestly, I don't know if we're going to break it. I don't know if we're going to reject it. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just sticking to my strategy rules, which is while we're in the gap, until we actually break it, I'm not looking to buy. Until we're literally out of it, until we've come out of it, come back and reject it and start like rejecting off it on the other side, I am not looking to buy. I'm fully just, but it can, like, it has to break at some point. They all break at some point. This could be the day it breaks. Absolutely. But you had a winner. Why not risk less and take the risk? You still would be in profit. But you had a winner. Why not risk less and take the risk? You still would be in. Oh, you mean like let take partials and let one like part of your order ride? Is that what you mean, Sergey? Honestly, yeah. Like in hindsight, that would have been good. But sometimes, like with my cash account, I'm very like I've built up the balance by being super cautious. Do you know what I mean? Not ever looking for home run trades. I built up my balance by always first sign of trouble, get the hell out. That's how I've done it. And it's kind of worked for me. I never hold the trades. It's a bit different when you're trading prop because a lot of prop firms will be they might have issues with you, trading too quickly. If you don't hold trades for a certain period of time. I know a lot of them have rules like that. But like in your own brokerage cash account, for me, just getting in, getting out, just every day, just scooping a little bit out the market. That's how I've built my balance up. And yeah, many times I'll get in the trade and I'll be like, man, if I held that would have been amazing. But Yeah, like Bambi. I'm proper like Bambi when I trade. Everything is a danger to me essentially. When I'm in the trade and I see anything that could be a danger, I'm already half ready to get the hell out. And if it makes me feel a little bit, nah, I'm taking my money. I'm out. Like that's just how I do it. But you're absolutely right. Many people, keep in a few positions. They let it trail, do all that kind of stuff. There's no right or wrong. Whatever suits you better, I guess. Uh, Reader Trader has 3 million, I think. Oh, Raider Trader has 3 million. Wow. 3 million subs for trading channel. That is insane. He teaches basic price action. Well, he must be teaching I mean I mean to get 3 million subs for basic price action, he must be churning out the videos. That's good, buddy. Good and strong mindset. Thank you. I don't know why I always take out 80%, take stop, break even, and let the rest run. Hey, that works for you, man. Like I would break under that. Like I'm just not good with holding trades. I never learned it. I never could do it. For me, if like I just want the reward very quickly, as soon as I see it, all right, I'm happy. Like I try not to let greed take over in any way because I think that's my downfall then. Um, so it's all you as a individual. You obviously have a much more probably a calmer nature than me. Um, I'm a lot more. I shouldn't actually be a trader. I'm actually like how I am in like naturally is probably not the best personality for a trader because I can be very kind of like not emotional. Like I don't cry or anything, but I can be very kind of rational um, in making decisions. So it took me a lot of time to kind of get over that, and I found the only way for me to kind of rather than learn to become to hold and become a swing trader or something like that. Quickest way for me was just if you're up a decent amount and you see a bit of trouble, get out, you know, and that worked for me. He is Chinese, so 3 million subs and all. Ah, okay. So most of it's like, oh, so he caters to the Chinese audience. Well, that kind of makes sense. Please like this stream for free good trading strategies. Only 11 likes. Paramjeet, thank you. Yes. If anyone could drop a like, if you could take a few seconds to drop a like, that would absolutely help me. I do appreciate that. Um, so thank you. But oh, we did tap into that gap. We did tap in. Yeah, there's still just profit taking. There's nothing going on here. There really is nothing going on. Let's look at the 15-minute footprint. Is there anything? Okay. Okay, so this is the first shift I'm seeing now. I can actually see it a bit better on the 15-minute. So notice when we had like the last. Notice how, most. I don't know. It's not perfect yet. It's not perfect. But I'm seeing the first slight shift, and it's mainly just the largest chunk of volume we've had. We're trading actually below it, but it is collective. This is the thing. This volume isn't real trap buyers. This is more. I mean, there are obviously buyers in this because that's why they're buyers, but the real move of that volume came from the fact that it's sell limits, right? Which is take profits. But there's something about the way the candle looks to me, like the wick, the fact it closed quite bearish. There's some sell pressure that came in. This is the first, for me, the first comment. It's not something I would want to jump in for a sell yet, but this could be the first signs that we're slowly starting to rotate, you know? Yeah. Your gray box is a supply right now. Yes. I don't know why I've got that gray. Oh, that gray box is a really old one. So we broke past it. We're retesting it from the other side. So yes, it would be good. That you're absolutely right. But we never really had much of a like. I mean, even if we just look at the candlesticks, all the buy volume came in, and it's slowly. You can just see how it's dropping off the volume right now. We're slowly starting to curve almost a little bit. Now, I wouldn't put too much emphasis just on the fact that a lot of time, more buys can come in and just start shooting up. That's possible, but it really has died off in the last couple of hours. This is all just profit taking, essentially. Everyone's getting out the market rather than wanting to actually get in. And yeah, it is what it is. Resistance. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I'm still waiting for here. But I don't think it's going to do it today. Just considering how little this market's moved, like each 15-minute candle, if you're lucky, is maybe 20 points. The volume's actually going less right now. So if we do another, 20 points, even if we're just all bullish candles, which is unlikely, 20 points, it's going to take, I just don't think it's going to get up there today. It might do. I'm going to set an alert a little bit, quite a bit before. I'll set it at 1:30, so I have time to get there on the charts. And I'll tell you what, I'll record it. If I get in a trade, I'll record it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, then so be it. Very annoying, but what can you do? But yeah, I think I'll pretty much leave it there because this stream has been running quite a while. There's over 2 hours already, and there's just not going to be any real trades right now because this is just this is pathetic. This volume is really low. It's just completely died. So if it does wake up a bit later, I'll record it. I'll post it on like Instagram or something like that, or a YouTube short or something. But yeah, it doesn't want to do it. But thank you all for tuning in. Come back tomorrow. FOMC tomorrow, the big one. The big one. So obviously we'll be trading before FOMC, so I'm not expecting the market to be too great. But nonetheless, still a good one. And yeah, I'll see you all guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care. See you tomorrow.